Hello, I'm Rachel and this is Lunabird Book Club. It is June. It's currently the 5th of June. And this is the June episode of Rachel's Reading Wrap-Up. So books I have carried forward into this month are Memory of Light, The Letters of Vincent van Gogh, The Odyssey. It took me far too long to remember that I was reading The Odyssey. A Light of All the Falls, and also the audiobook of Words of Radiance. However, I did actually finish Words of Radiance on the 1st of June because I only had like 2 or 3 chapters left and it was great. I think that because obviously I listened to a lot of it at 2.5 speed or 3 speed, so I was kind of just hitting the big story plot points rather than character and world building and things like that. So I might do a slower read of that this month as well with my other fantasy friend. But for now, yeah, I enjoyed it. Brandon's great. I love you, Adeline Cullen. Anyway, the evening of the 5th of June, which is today, I have just finished rereading the first Fables volume, Legends in Exile. I read this, I think it was in February, maybe January, I don't know. I read this earlier this year because this is a comic book series that Cathy really likes. And we're doing fanverse first time reader with it, and I read it, and then a couple of months later we did a video about it. We talked about it, you can find that here. And I don't remember much about what happened in it, but so I reread it because I'm going to be reading the next ones soon. And also there's a little short story in the back called A Wolf in the Fold that I didn't read the first time I read it, and I really should have done because I've just read it and oh my goodness, we learned so much about the wolf's backstory. We learned a little bit about the adversary's attack. We also learned something about a guy called Feathertop who is very sus. He has other names. He smokes a pipe. Do you know who has a lot of pipes in his room in the art in this book? King Cole. Is King Cole secretly working for the adversary? I don't know. Anyway, that's not really for this video. All that to say, I read this again very quickly. I enjoyed it. It reminded me of characters and situations and things like that. So tomorrow, the 6th of June, I will be starting Animal Farm, which is the 2nd volume in the Fables series. And June will be great. Let me explain further, because I've just watched that back and realised that I didn't actually say what I wanted to say about Fables, the short story at the end of the Fables volume. So, I remember asking Cathy in our first video if Snow and Bigby end up together, and she looked at me like, if I had read this short story the first time I read this volume, I wouldn't have had to ask that question because, they are meant to be. That's the only taste he could remember. Come on, guys. That's love. Also, why would Feathertop not taste nice? Do you know what I mean? It's the 9th of June. Today I have finished Animal Farm, which is the 2nd compilation volume of the Fables series. I really enjoyed it. I think, now I haven't read the novel Animal Farm and I haven't read the novel Lord of the Flies, so I think there are a couple of literary references that went over my head, but this is essentially about so the Fable community live in modern day New York, and the non-humanoid people in the Fable community have to live in a farm upstate, and not all of them are happy with that, and that's what this volume is about. And I am quite interested to talk to Cathy about this and the themes that it explores, and I'm very interested to see what the lasting repercussions of the events of this volume will have on the rest of the series, if any. There was a period of recovery that did like a time jump, so I'm guessing we're going to pick up after that when we come to volume 3. What else? I think I would rate it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I spent more time reading the words and looking at the pictures this time instead of just speeding through looking at the words. I'm also really glad that I went back and reread the first one, Legends in Exile, because that made it clear why some things weren't able to happen with regards to Bigby. There's a bit at the end of the first volume that talks about a fire-breathing crow, but I thought that happened pre them coming to our world, but this makes me think it's post them coming to our world, and I don't know if that's just because it was like a snippet of a volume or a different like spin-off series of comics. I'm not sure. We got to see more of Boy Blue, so I'm excited to talk to Cathy about him. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Well, fun is maybe not the right word for this one, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It's the 15th of June. Every time I do that, I forget what date it is. I have had a very busy week, so I haven't done a lot of reading. But today I am starting volume 3 of Fables. This one is called Storybook Love, and it includes issue 11 to 18 of the Fables series. I'm assuming it's going to be about Snow and Bigby, because there's a wolf on the cover, but only time will tell. It's the 17th of July. I'm just changing my shoes before I go into work. Yesterday I was at Cathy's for some filming, and I handed over Oathbringer and I said, start it whenever you want, just let me know when you do, so that I can actually be on a similar reading pace to you than just cramming it into 4 days, or trying to anyway. And Cathy messaged me yesterday as soon as I got home to say I started it. So I've listened to the prologue on the way to work today, and man, I'm so excited for Cathy to read this one. There's so much proscendi in it, and I'm excited for it. And I'm also excited for it because I just love the whole Colin section. June is over, and now I feel like I say this every month, but it has been a great reading month. I finished Words of Radiance, but I mean, I only had like 3 chapters of that left to read, so it's not a big accomplishment. I read Animal Farm. I reread Legends in Exile. I've just finished part 2 of Oathbringer, so I'm about, I don't know, a third of the way through that. I don't know what the split is. What else have I done? I haven't read any Memory of Light. I haven't read any Vincent van Gogh. I haven't read any of The Odyssey. I haven't read any of An Echo of Things to Come. That's not what it's called. The Light of All That Falls. I haven't read any of... No, I think that's it for my ongoings. I've read the first chapter of Storybook Love, which is the 3rd in the Fables volume series. And it was pretty grisly, but that was about 2 weeks ago, and I haven't read any since, which isn't great. But I've been really busy. I've had lots of theatre things going on, and we're coming to the end of the academic year, so it's always really busy. And I just don't have a lot of space, you know. I offered to proofread. One of my friends is writing a story, so I've been doing that in my spare time as well. And I have read 2 plays. I've read Old Actors Don't Die, They Simply Lose the Plot, which was marketed as a farce, but, and I mean, it was farcical in places, but I think in my head, I'm never a big fan of farces because I think they lean too much into like crude sexual humour a lot of the time. But this one wasn't overt in any way. I just thought it was quite funny. So that was good. And I read through the book script of the RSC version of The Wizard of Oz because I'm reading it. So that's 2 plays that I've read. And I just lost my koala head. I do have my hot chocolate. I think that's really it. Do you know what though? Last week, Cathy and I did a video about seeing where we were up to with our reading goals for 2024. And I know that I'm behind in all 3 of them, but I still feel positive about the year. And I think this month, as busy as it was, I still actually did do some reading, as opposed to April, where even though I was busy, and I think I read like 1 thing, and that was like pulling teeth. I'm not beating myself up, and I have read 2 plays, and I've read a comic book, and I haven't bought a book in June. Did I buy a book in June? I don't think I did. So that's good, isn't it? That I am stamping down my consumer habit. Yeah, Cathy's video is going to come out tomorrow, so touch in with Cathy there, see what she has been reading. Yeah, I will see you next month. Bye. 4th of June. 5th of June? Maybe I should get my bag of shame.